Today, we're unlocking the secrets of the doorstep with the 35 most shocking things caught on a doorbell camera. From eerie nighttime visitors to bizarre daytime encounters, these clips will leave you amazed and unnerved. Get ready to see what really happens right outside the front door. This doorbell cam caught the most gruesome of scenes. It was a normal day in this premises when a black car drove into this premises. It parked up properly before 3 hooded men stepped out of the car. Then suddenly the dynamics of their movement changed. All of them immediately rushed in a certain direction. While we cannot see what's going on there, it's certain it can't be good. Later, they rushed back to the car and sped off. This will all make sense when you get to know the video was retrieved from a scene of a homicide in 2018. It was nighttime in Willow Glen, but something sinister was about to happen. This footage was all clean and peaceful until a man who was dressed up like a thief walked into the scene. What he did next will send chills down your spine. He peeped into one of the rooms in the house for a while. The room in question belonged to a 7-year-old who was most likely sleeping. After a bit, the suspect just turned around and walked off into the night. It was quite a scare for the people of Willow Glen after the footage was released. In this footage, a man walks up to a house. From the look of things, he is the jolly delivery man who is trying to deliver a parcel to this house. He rings the bell and waits for the owners of the house to respond. Moments later, the owner opens the door. The man extends the parcel towards the house owner, who is trying to take a look at it. That was the moment things escalated. The man pulled out a gun on the house owner, revealing himself to be an armed robber. The owner, working purely on reflex, pushed the robber away and shut the door. The robber, realizing he had failed, immediately ran towards his car. This man had just packed in front of this premises and was walking casually towards the house. He had no idea that things were about to get really sinister for the most unexpected reasons. He got to the door and opened the net door so he could knock. That was when he received the shock of a lifetime. A snake, which was reclining around the door, attacked him and bit him in the face before running away. The man screams, holding his face, and begins to plead with the house owners to take him to the hospital as he had just been bitten in the face by a snake. This video carries a bit of shock and hilarity in it. The footage shows 2 wannabe burglars trying to break into a home. They both have guns in their possession and are trying hard to break into this home. While they were trying to get the door out of their way, something they never planned for happened.
At 2 o'clock Monday morning.
One of the suspects mistakenly shot himself in the leg. This startled the robbers, who ran away immediately. After a while, the uninjured one came back with his gun pulled out but couldn't do anything.
One of the men came back.
I could see the one standing in my front yard, and he pulled his gun out of his pocket.
The house owners called in the police, who were able to get the injured suspect arrested. It's a rather scary scene in this video. It's night in this neighborhood and all is well until from nowhere. This woman appears knocking desperately on the door of this house. She is clearly in some kind of trouble and is trying to get help from whoever lives there. She keeps knocking furiously and hoping that someone would answer her quickly enough. However, the whole scenario grows darker in a short while.
Please, no, please.
The woman is heard crying out as an unknown figure, Most likely a man grabs her violently and carries her away into the night. If that isn't scary footage, then nothing else is. It's night in North Texas and it's all serene and peaceful. However, this doorbell cam is about to capture one of the most scary night experiences you have ever seen. It's all quiet and all of a sudden, there is an explosion in a house a few distances away. The explosion causes the house to burn immediately and causes some alarm systems of cars and houses to go off. Fortunately, the house in question is still under construction, and so no one was inside it at that time of the night. The fire was most likely caused by an explosion from a triggered gas appliance that wasn't properly turned off. It's a rather scary scene in this video. These two armed robbers are robbing this house and have 3 victims who are all kids lying flat on the floor with their face to the ground. As if it wasn't already terrifying enough for these kids, one of the robbers asked one of the girls to stand up and takes her into another room in the house.
Then, one suspect lifts one young lady by her hair and orders her.
All of this is happening when the robbers get the shock of their life.
Got you on camera.
The cops are on the way.
The cops are on their way.
My
neighbors are there.
The house owners speak over the door cam and let the robbers know they'll get in trouble if they do not leave. This scares the robbers, who immediately round off their operation and leave the house.
They left.
This is another one of those videos you would wish your doorbell cam should never capture. It's all quiet until something disturbing happens. A car goes past this doorbell cam at a very alarming speed. Whoever was driving that car was going really fast. After the car passed, it was all quiet for a bit, until something dark and terrible followed. It was the sound of the car crashing into something. It was later confirmed that the car was involved in a fiery accident that damaged the car. The person in the wheels survived. The police are definitely doing a drug test for this one. It's a rather gruesome incident about to unfold somewhere in Houston, Texas. This man is trying to buy a beer at a gas station, and he keeps looking outside like he is monitoring some activity.
Faulkner, this man buying a beer is who police are looking for.
After buying the beer, he steps out of the store and heads towards a white van. He has a bit of verbal tussle with the guy there, and then the whole situation gets gruesome.
The driver.
The complainant appears to have been somewhere.
The man shoots the van guy. The van guy tries to run, but he collapses. The man runs up to him and shoots him again, this time in the head. He takes whatever he can take before fleeing the scene.
Right there outside the gas station. He then fled on foot.
The victim died from the attack, and the police are still looking for the murderer. This woman just arrived home and is trying to get into her house. She has no idea what's about to hit her. From nowhere, a black car shows up from nowhere, and a hooded guy steps out, pointing a gun at the woman. The woman understands what the situation is and throws everything she has to the floor for the robber. The suspect isn't satisfied and still tries to check the woman. The woman cries out that she has nothing else on her. The robber still goes ahead to search for her. After that, he picks up everything on the floor and runs towards the car. They drive off, leaving the woman terribly shaken. It was a peaceful night in the northern area of Texas when this family heard a banging at their door. The doorbell cam was able to capture the moment.
As she escaped, take a look at this video. It's just terrifying.
It was a young lady screaming for help as she was trying to escape an horrifying encounter. It was later discovered that she was actually fleeing the scene of a shooting.
Working through the night, and we just obtained doorbell video that shows.
The lady was chilling with 2 of her friends when somebody from nowhere came out and started shooting at them. One of the victims was murdered while the others were injured. The police are still carrying out an investigation, and it's uncertain who the suspect in this case is. This scene took place at midnight in Texas. This family was just getting into their driveway after an outing when two teenage wannabe robbers tried to rob the family. They opened one of the doors of the car where the family's infant kids were stationed. This triggered the man of the house, and he acted. Apparently, the man was armed, so he fired at the two boys in self-defense. The bullets met their targets while the family immediately drove off in fear. The boys could be heard groaning in pain. A good Samaritan found them and took them to the hospital. The case is being investigated by the police. It's a typical night in California, but this doorbell cam is about to capture one of the strangest things you've ever seen. This man walks up to this house. He knows very well there is a door cam as he looks at it. What he does next is perhaps the most creepy thing ever caught on a doorbell cam. He brings out his tongue and begins to lick the doorbell. He does it for a while facing the doorbell cam, and later turns his back to the camera as he continues doing this annoyingly scary deed. We are not aware if he was ever caught. It would actually make some sense to ask him why in the world he was licking a doorbell. This man was just trying to take out the trash when the most unexpected thing happened.
Shouted, give me your keys, you know. Kept my hands up, tried to stay as calm as possible.
Two guys accosted him asking for his car keys. One of them had a gun and was pointing it straight at the victim. The man didn't have the car keys with him as it was inside a bag in his car. So the suspects followed him and one of them got a hold of the bag. The one with the fun jumped into the man's car, forgetting he was the one with a weapon and that the car key was with his friend.
Then the other robber hops in and tries to start the car, not realizing his partner already took the keys.
That was when the tables turned. The man went after the guy with the bag who ran away, while the one with the gun tried to shoot the man. Both thieves ended up running away and were picked up by a blue car.
One of the suspects fired.
A car drove up to Ty's premises and a man got out of it. This man casually walked up to the house and rang the bell. When he saw that no one was at home, he did something very weird. He covered the doorbell cam with the doormat, and for the rest of the video, it is not clear to decipher what he was up to. However, whatever he was doing cannot be something good. This man was later arrested by the police after the house owner complained. This man had been robbing the house, and he did it for a whopping 3 times before the hands of the law caught up with him. This video is one that gets increasingly dark as you watch. This man comes out of the house, slamming the door. He walks towards a lady who happens to be his partner. There seems to be some kind of disagreement between them. Before we know what's happening, the whole issue turns on its head. The woman gets into her car and starts driving fast and hard towards the man. Of course, driving at that speed would only have one intention: to hurt the person on the receiving end. The man sees this quickly and runs for dear life. What's not still clear about this video is the loud sound that follows. It's not clear if it's a gun or who fired it. This is a rather hilarious but serious story. These 4 guys gathered at the front of this house to rob. The doorbell cam caught them as they tried to break into the house.
Front door only to be met by gunfire from the homeowner. That homeowner says they were alerted by a motion sensor linked.
The moment they successfully broke in, they were greeted with something they did not expect.
The door was kicked in.
The suspects quickly fled the scene in a gray car before officers arrived. If you know who...
The house owner was aware of their presence and prepared for them. The moment they broke in, they were greeted with gunshots. The 4 suspects ran helter-skelter as they fled for their lives. They ran straight to a gray-colored car which sped off. This man walks up to the door of this house and starts to open it without even knocking. Apparently, he is a burglar who is trying to rob the house. But this suspect is about to discover he chose the wrong house. Just as he opened the door to go in, he shot back out in fear and confusion. The owner came out with a gun in his hand, pointed at the culprit. The suspect is now trapped and has nowhere to run to. This one is surely going to jail, as the homeowner is definitely not letting him go scot-free. It was quite a scene on Industry Street. These guys were sitting on the balcony when a car drove by. What came from the car was unexpected. Somebody from inside the car started shooting at them. They all ran for dear life. One of them hid himself behind one of the pillars of the balcony. One of the persons in the car got down to get a better shot at the guy hiding in the balcony. When they saw they couldn't get a proper shot, they dove off, leaving the area immediately, while the person hissing behind the pillar ran inside the house. This Uber driver just got parked as he finished this ride.
SUV could be seen pulling into the parking lot at the Greenbrier on the Bayou Apartments.
He waited for the passengers to get out, and when he felt they were all out of the way, he tried to leave. But something was about to go terribly wrong.
Pulls forward.
The child fell in front of the vehicle, and she was too short.
The family had left their one-year-old child all alone. By the time the driver was trying to move, he couldn't see the little girl who was right in front of the car. He ran over the kid.
Some adults running out, pulling the Uber driver out.
The people in the area started beating up the Uber driver. The driver was later interviewed, and it was clear he wasn't aware the kid was there. It was night in this neighborhood, and some of the local area gang boys were walking about at night. They had no idea the night was about to get chaotic. From behind them, someone fired a shot at them. They were lucky not to get hit. They immediately returned fire for fire as they tried to defend themselves with their own guns. Some of them ran for cover, while others kept shooting at whoever was responsible. The police is yet to identify the persons involved, but it's clear they are rival gangs in the area trying to get at each other. It was night in West Dallas, and this doorbell cam is about to capture some really crazy footage. These boys stepped out of a red car, and immediately, the night changed. They were greeted with gunshots from a rival gang. The gangs exchanged fire for a while before the red car guys decided it was time to retreat. They left amidst shooting from the other gang. They were lucky not to have any casualty, but the rival gang wasn't so lucky. Although we can't see the persons, we can hear people crying from the pain of being hit. It was later confirmed that one person died and another was injured. What was supposed to be a regular fight and disagreement between a few persons was about to escalate into something else. Before you know what's happening, bullets are flying all over the place as these persons try to actually shoot at each other. A young man can be seen firing rounds while trying to avoid getting hit. It didn't take much time for the cops to get there. They arrested 3 persons who would be charged with deadly conduct. While nobody was killed or injured, a lot of homes, cars, and other properties received one form of damage or the other. It was supposed to be night when everyone sleeps. But this prowler clearly has no business sleeping. He is looking for a house to rob. He gets on the balcony of this house and moves closer towards the door. He suddenly stops and does something unexpected. He turns away from the door and goes away from the house as quickly as possible. He seems to have an accomplice who wonders why he made that move. His response:
"They have a Ring doorbell."
He was afraid of doing anything incriminating in front of the doorbell cam. Apparently, he chose the wrong house for today's operation. It's a quiet night and everything is going fine. A car randomly drives past the coverage of this doorbell cam, but that's nothing to worry about as cars would drive at night. However, something was about to happen to the occupant of that car. While the video footage doesn't offer any visuals of the incident, the gunshots heard are being fired at the 23-year-old who was driving that car. The shots were fired repeatedly, and this ended the life of the victim. Doorbell cams can sometimes capture rare footage. This one is one of them. In the Plano area, this doorbell cam is about to capture a very breathtaking and wrenching moment. The footage shows the moment a house exploded. The explosion was so serious it affected the roof of the house with the doorbell cam. The video shows the roof falling as the smoke rises. The casualties within the said house are 6, with multiple being kids. All of the victims sustained some injury, but no one died. The explosion has been linked to a gas leakage that occurred in the house. This doorbell cam footage was focused on this premises where it all looked serene. However, something disturbing was about to get into the frame. From nowhere, an SUV with a trailer broke out on the lawn. It made a circular motion around one of the trees and was about to go for another one when something stopped it. It got stuck on one of the trees and couldn't move. This saved the SUV and its owner, as it was possible this was the outcome of a brake failure. It's a great relief to see that there was no traffic there. This doorbell cam is having a great day until it has to capture this disturbing and confusing moment. A car drives past the front of this house, and someone from within the car opens fire on the house while the car drives past without stopping. It's not clear whether the shooter was playing or targeting someone in the house. Most of the bullets actually hit the lawn and didn't do much damage. Nobody seemed to be outside at the time of the shooting, so nobody got hurt. It still remains a mystery, though, what the shooter was trying to achieve. This incident is a rather horrifying one. It's quiet in this area at night until the most unexpected incident unfolds. 2 cars stop in front of this Charlotte house and open fire on the house unprovoked. According to sources, the guys from the car shot over 150 rounds at the house. When they were done, they got back into their cars and drove off. A 3-year-old was killed in the attack, while her 6-year-old sister was injured. One of the persons involved in the incident has been arrested. The police believe that this person is linked with another case of homicide. This doorbell cam was positioned to watch over the pen of these pet pigs. You wouldn't believe what it captured. A bear comes to the area and gets into the pig pen.
Near their pig pen.
What ensues is something you would not expect in your wildest dreams.
First, Mary, the bigger pig, stands her ground, and then Hammy.
The pigs in the pen take runs charging at the bear. It's not exactly clear how the whole thing ended, but the pigs are safe at the end of the day. Maybe, just maybe, the bear got bored and left. The owner of the pet pigs is so delighted nothing happened to her pets. She even served them some good dinner and gave them a long walk that day. This doorbell cam catches a very lucky moment. It's a front porch and nobody is there at the moment when suddenly one huge branch of a tree in front of their house falls down. This attracts the attention of the person inside. She decides to come out to see what happened. She sees the tree branch on the ground and decides to check the extent of the damage. She stepped outside and was barely off the porch when suddenly another branch fell. She was quick enough to react and she escaped being injured by that tree branch. This doorbell cam captured some serious case of violence. A lady who seemed to have been running from someone is seen banging on a door and calling for help. Almost immediately we understand why she needs help. This man appears from nowhere and pulls her away from the door to the ground. He lands a few punches on her before dragging her on the lawn floor all the way towards a car. At the moment, news indicates that this kidnapper has been caught and charged with kidnapping and violence against a female. The owners of TGE Home who offered the footage are red, as they've never seen something like that before. This video is a really dark one. This doorbell cam captured the moment of a tragedy. What comes into view are the last few moments before a plane crashes. The plane jets downwards like a shooting star and finally crashes to the ground, creating a big fire and explosion. The residents of that area felt the quake that followed the crash. It affected the electrical system of the whole area as the lights went out. The owner of this particular house came out of his house and could see the fire. That's how serious and tragic a crash it was.
The fire.
This footage is absolutely gruesome. It's a quiet and peaceful neighborhood, and the doorbell cam in taking in the scenery.
Small plane goes down.
This blue car was just driving down the neighborhood when the most unexpected thing happened. A plane came out of nowhere and crashed into the car before catching fire. The two persons that were in the car were rushed to the hospital and were terribly injured. The people in the plane, on the other hand, were not so lucky. They died the moment the plane caught fire and exploded. This is the most unexpected kind of accident you could ever witness.